Good morning, I'm Dave Hemsley. I'm the Assistant Headteacher at the University of Liverpool Maths School. I'm here at RAF Woodvale. It's the place where John O'Donnell used to do a lot of his free flying competitions. John was a very, very good free flyer. John was born in 1932 and he first started cutting balsa in around about 1941. Now John was a 19 times national champion of the overall free flying competition, an incredible amount, and 10 times in a row. Now John was a graduate from Manchester University with a degree in maths and physics, and John went on to work in the aircraft industry as well as manufacturing, and in the second half of his career he found out his love for teaching, so he started to teach mathematics. Now John at the same time was a massive science fiction fan, and he built up a rather large science fiction collection through his years, and his wife June was always so impressed or amazed by how many books started to take up the household. Now, John sadly died in 2017, and June got in touch with the university library to let us know that there was a large amount of science fiction collection available. Now, the library unfortunately had most of those books anyway, but they passed it on to us. So Phoenix Alexander, the curator of the science fiction collection, let me know that there were some books available. I spoke to June, and we were very happy to be able to accept that donation as the John O'Donnell collection, which is now taking pride of place in our library, which Phoenix will introduce to you in a moment.
Hi everyone, I'm Phoenix Alexander. I am the Science Fiction Collections Librarian at the University of Liverpool, based in the Sidney Jones Library Special Collections and Archives. I have the coolest job in the world because I look after the largest catalogue collection of science fiction in Europe. We've got both printed materials like you can see behind me, and archival materials, so letters, notepads, typewriters, of some of the most famous authors of the 20th century. And I'm delighted to introduce the currently in process John O'Donnell Science Fiction Collection here at the Liverpool Maths School. So as you can see, it's currently taking up these 3 bookshelves behind me, and there are many more boxes off camera. So far, 3 bookshelves have been unpacked, and you can see those behind me. And the rest are being processed by the teachers here and will be on the shelves soon. I thought today I could introduce some of my personal favourite texts and authors from the collection here in the hope that you can check them out and discover their work. So at the top of the shelf here you can see a collection of books by Isaac Asimov, who you may have heard of, and I would say he's most famous for 2 series. So the first is the Foundation series. This is book 1 of the Foundation series. And this is all about a kind of prophet-like figure called Harry Sheldon, who makes up a sociological doctrine called psychohistory. So it's the idea that if you study human society and civilization in depth enough, you can actually predict future events. So you can kind of map out a roadmap or plan out a direction for human civilization based on, I guess, rigorous sociological research, which is a really neat idea, and there are many books in this series, and so the Foundation series I would definitely recommend. And the other series from Asimov is the Irobot series. So this is a wonderful paperback cover. It might look quite different from the Will Smith movie from a few years ago, that again some of you might have seen. This is about laws of robotics and theorizing how humans might live ethically with robots, and how robots, how they could kind of mitigate the potential harm that robots can do to human society. So the Foundation series and the Irobot series are great titles to start with if you're interested in Isaac Asimov. Another author who has a lot of books in this collection is Arthur C. Clarke. His books, you can see behind me, running from this shelf all the way here, and obviously he was a very prolific author. He was one of the, I guess, foundational writers of the 20th century. He was a scientist, a trained physicist, and one of his most famous works is 2001: A Space Odyssey. This was also made into a film with Stanley Kubrick. Clarke co-wrote the script with Kubrick and then wrote a series of novels based on the film. And before that, however, he wrote a short story called The Sentinel, which is about a strange obelisk that is found on the surface of the moon that in fact acts as a kind of alarm signal for a higher civilization to come and contact humanity. And as well as the 2001 series, Clarke wrote some incredible short stories, and I would recommend the 9 billion names of God in particular, as well as the Sentinel that I just mentioned that inspired this film and the novel. And this anthology that I hold in my hands, Dangerous Visions by Harlan Ellison, really shook up the genre even more. So this was published in 1979 and contains contributions for, again, some of the most notable figures of the 20th century, including Brian Aldiss, Samuel Delany, who actually finishes the collection with an amazing short story called I and Gamora. I and Gamora tells a story of a group of humans who are specialized in traveling to and from space, and they leap between different cities of the world, going up into orbit and then coming down, and it tells a kind of strange tale of how they're received in society and often sexualized by society. Again, quite groundbreaking because the focus is not so much on the technology, but on the social attitudes and sexual attitudes that are actually directed towards these individuals. So a fantastic anthology that I would 100% recommend if you want to understand the history of the genre. So the final author I mentioned is Anne Mccaffrey, who wrote the Dragon Riders of Pern series. This is one of her titles, Dragon Quest, with this amazing Jabberwocky-like cover that you can see there. And Anne Mccaffrey, again, is a hugely prolific author whose dragon riders form telepathic bonds with their creatures. And she kind of straddles the line between science fiction and fantasy. She has written more straightforward science fiction novels, I would say, but she's definitely another author to check out who has been hugely influential in the field to writers such as Robin Hobb and others who come after her.
Thank you, Phoenix. That was brilliant. And what I'm really interested in now is having a look at some of these books that I've heard about before, but never had the opportunity to read. So, for example, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the movie things. So, yeah, Starship Troopers. Can't wait. But now that you've recommended some books to the students, I don't think it'll be long before they start having a good read.